You've poured your heart and soul into crafting the perfect customer experience. From sleek store designs to meticulously curated menus, you've thought of everything. But there's a nagging doubt in the back of your mind. Are your customers truly happy? Forget about endless likes and cryptic social media comments. What if you could truly understand what your customers are thinking right now at every touch point? Imagine real time insights that reveal their frustrations, highlight their delights, and pinpoint areas for improvement across all your locations, offline and online. Imagine customers instantly sharing their experiences from checkouts at ATMs to hospital visits. Real time actionable insights reveal customer satisfaction, pinpoint areas for improvement, and help you understand what truly resonates with them across all your locations. Today's webinar revolves around how you can enable your brand to do just that. Now, the feedback capability on Locobuzz isn't just about basic forms to capture feedback. It's about building a two-way connect. Joining the conversation with me today are two of our homegrown product managers, Vijay Vittal and Aditya Jain, to discuss how to transform frustrated silence into actionable insights that drive customer satisfaction and business growth. Hi, guys, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's excited to be here and speaking about feedback and social media listening and how it both connects. Very excited.
Awesome. On that note, let's get started. And Vijay, I'm going to start with you. So we all know that traditional surveys could be a hit or a miss, and customers are very busy. And frankly, generic forms just don't cut it anymore. So Vijay, in your opinion, in today's social media-driven world, what are some of the rather better ways to capture those super valuable customer insights?
Right. So social media listening has always been at the forefront of collecting unsolicited feedback. And unsolicited feedback has its own advantages. It's not something that the customer would give once prompted, which may cause a lot of bias. And the sheer sample size difference to the population, right? It's too disproportionate for you to come to any sort of conclusions with that kind of a research. That's why social media listening gives you a true picture of your entire market or what customer feels about quantitatively. What feedback enables you to do as an addition is to nourish that insights from from a very qualitative perspective, and then you can polish that insights even better, right? I think these are the two ways currently that are available for you to understand your customers better.
But Vijay, sometimes a simple survey just isn't enough, right? And customers, what they really crave is a two-way conversation. So let's talk a little bit about how Locobuzz facilitates that kind of an interaction.
All right. So we fundamentally believe that any opportunity that a brand has to engage with their customers should be as much as possible a continuing conversation, right? So with Locobuzz, what you can do is enable any feedback collection, be it from social media or be it from your social media operations or other support operations like email, chat, and also a feedback collected from a survey form, if at all, is negative or something actionable that you can do. You can definitely like do such kind of workflows in Locobus. So basically, what we try to emphasize is ability for a brand to acknowledge a feedback given to the brand across various places, uh, then appreciate positive feedback. A lot of the brands don't do this, but it goes a long way when you appreciate a customer. You can automate this too, right? And then rebuild on the insights that you have got. So that could be immediately possible by talking to the customer, trying to understand more, or fixing that issue, or collectively looking at it as an analytics to move departmental changes to achieve that.
That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Let me go to Aditya next. Aditya, maybe walk us through the process. How exactly do these surveys work for capturing feedback in real time?
First of all, thank you for the lovely introduction, Angana, and having me on this panel. Coming to your question, so this process is designed to be really intuitive and efficient. So this is a very powerful capability for customer-facing brands having multiple locations. Uh, how this process starts? So each location can generate its unique QR code, and once the QR is generated, you can then link a survey form to that particular QR code. Let me give you an example. So let's say I have designed a survey for an ATM experience. I will link this form to the QR generated for one of my ATM locations and place this QR inside the ATM. Now, when a customer scans this QR code with their smartphone or any other device, they're directed to a survey asking them about their ATM experience. So that's how personalized this entire experience would be for the customer. But it's not just about the QR codes. The real value, I would say, lies in the dynamic nature of these surveys. So you can design the survey in such a way that, based on your customer's response, the flow and the user journey itself changes. So let's continue with the ATM example. If a customer at an ATM indicates dissatisfaction with the service and gives you a one-star rating, right? So you can design the survey in such a way that the next question shown to the customer would be, okay, you've given us a one-star rating. How can we improve our services? Or which aspect of the experience specifically led you to give me a one-star rating? On the other hand, if they give me a five-star rating, we can ask, what did you like about your experience? So this sort of a conditional approach ensures that the feedback collected is not only actionable, but it also gives you a sense of okay, where my strengths as a brand lie and what are the areas I need to improve on.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense actually. But you mentioned QR codes earlier on in your when you were responding, right? They sound pretty intriguing. So, but tell me this, Aditya, with multiple stores across the country, how does, let's say, the head office? How can the head office keep track of everything? Can they use Locobuzz feedback to identify, certain locations that are exceeding expectations, or pinpoint areas that could use improvement?
Absolutely. So let's take another example here. So you mentioned how can the head office, track performance. So let's take an example of a national chain like McDonald's. So using Locobuzz, what McDonald's can do is they can group multiple locations together to analyze how a particular region is performing. So let's say I can group all of my McDonald's outlets in Mumbai and see how they compare to the ones in, let's say, Delhi. What do you gain out of that? So I've heard Vijay actually say this quite often, and I would like to quote him on that customer service is a pattern game. So by looking at the patterns developing, you can identify which regions require your attention. So if the stores in Delhi are consistently receiving, let's say, lower scores on average than the other regions on customer satisfaction, you can investigate further. So there can be a multiple issues with why your satisfaction rating is down, right? It can be a training issue. It can be maybe a low fill rate issue. If yes, what can the headquarters do about it? So the headquarters, in this sense, has the ability to manage all of these operations. So you have the entire setup. You have your QR code set up. You've done the hard work of putting it everywhere. But if you want to make any changes, you are just a few clicks away from away, and that is the sort of control this capability gives you as a brand. So your endpoints are set up. Your experience from these endpoints or locations is something that can be controlled by the HQ. For example, it can be the ability to just tweak a question or change a question or add a different form altogether is something that can again be managed in just a few clicks. So that now that we've talked about areas of improvement, let's talk about identifying areas that are actually doing well. So having a centralized view as you do from an HQ, you can identify which stores or regions are doing well, but more importantly, why are they doing well? And then you can take these learnings and sort of implement those best practices to elevate your experience across the board.
That's super impressive. But moving to Vijay for this one, actually, with a constant stream of feedback that's coming in at all times from various locations, various touch points, how can brands ensure that the right person gets assigned to respond to each of these customers? Can you shed some light on probably the response management side of things for this, Vijay?
Sure. Let me expand the horizon of this question a little bit, right? Because it is not always about answering the questions or responding to the customer, but it's about ability to be notified on something, right? If a location has constant stream of negative reviews coming, the store manager wants to know the same day, perhaps the same hour, right? So those things that I think becomes a lot more important with this stream of information that is coming to you from your customers directly, right? Then so it this new functionality of Locobuzz inherits all the goodness of the platform that we've built so far, and it has been in use at scale. Ability to route conversation to the right team members. We've had skill-based routing from a long time, and then this is such a it's such an important thing for getting the work done so much faster, right? So you you're able to assign right conversation to the uh, regional teams, or even at the store level functionality, ability to either ask them to reply to customers directly or use them in an escalation workflow, right? And then alerting people based on what has happened. If there is something important that is that needs an attention, you can help fire multiple such alerts and alarms, so that a lot of people have a chance to fix the issue, perhaps while the customer is still on location, if it is coming from an offline place, right? So I think those are the capabilities that enables a brand to run multi-location operations from a customer experience standpoint, right, pretty holistically.
Great. And now that we've tackled the logistics, let's talk a little bit about the benefits. Aditya, what are some of the key advantages that businesses can expect, when they implement location-based QR surveys?
Yep, that's a great question. So one of the USPs of this release, I would say, is that you don't need to use any third-party apps for this entire process. You can design the survey, select a delivery mechanism, be it social or physical locations, make it accessible to your customers, and then also analyze your responses all on a single platform, right? So these surveys gives brands a unique opportunity to protect their image, so to say, by asking feedback from the customers at the experience zone itself, and not letting it escalate to social media where it can, affect their reputation, as many more people are likely to see it. So it's like an outlet you're giving to your disgruntled customers, while also identifying, as we've discussed, areas of improvement for your product or service. You can also use these surveys, as a tool to assess your support performance by sending a feedback form after you have resolved a particular issue, or in customer service terms, as they say, when you've closed a ticket. Secondly, I think it removes the ambiguity that complaints on social media sometimes tend to have. Again, let me give you an example. So a customer is unhappy with an airline's check-in experience, let's say, and they post on social media about, how bad their experience was. And since they are so frustrated by their experience, they also go ahead and, give a one-star review on Google. So now, how do I, as a brand, get to know which airport or which region is this person talking about? On the other hand, with the implementation of location-based surveys, you can you know exactly where your area of improvement lies without even having to interact with the customer. In fact, maybe my interaction with the customer would then be, offering them an upgrade on their flight, knowing that they've had a bad check-in experience. And I think by this way, you can turn a potentially negative experience to a positive one for the customer.
That makes sense, Aditya. But beyond just advantages, let's dig a little deeper on this. What kind of valuable, actionable insights can brands expect from these surveys?
Right. So speaking about analytics, Locobuzz gives you an overview of key metrics that you'd expect from your survey responses, such as the average customer satisfaction scores, the number of responses, and the completion rates. You can then also dive deep into which particular business aspect is contributing to your positive or negative ratings. Additionally, we have visualization through various charts and graphs. Like we have trend lines showing changes in satisfaction levels, or bar charts highlighting common issues that customers are facing. So this visual representation makes it a lot easier for brands to spot areas that require instant attention. So a retailer might notice when he's analyzing the survey responses that customers frequently mention long wait times. So this can, quickly prompt a review of their checkout processes. So the key here is not just to, collect data, but to also act on it. And businesses should regularly review these insights and integrate them into their decision making process. I think having monthly review meetings where these key insights from customers' feedbacks are discussed can drive continuous improvement, which I think all brands strive for, right? At the end of the day, it's about creating a culture that values and uses customer feedback as a strategic asset rather than just thinking about it as a checkbox.
Great. What it sums up to be is that it seems like this new addition onto the Locobuzz platform, with any new addition, and whenever something has so many features, it often tends to get complicated. So I want to take a quick moment to address that. Vijay, how user friendly are these surveys for both businesses and their customers? Are there any customization options available so that these brands can tailor these surveys to their specific needs?
Yes, absolutely. So, rightly pointed out in the question, right? The whole thing is about enabling a great experience for the end customer, right? Locopus is helping brands to run that at scale according to their terms, according to their taste, right? So this whole suite of personalization opportunities available when you make your own form, and there's more focus on how is the experience of the same for the end customer, right? Is it easy? Is it easy on a phone? Is it fast? Right? Does it work on every screen size? Right? So those kind of things are considered a lot, and brands can drive such kind of experiences at scale. You can have as many as you want from a use case perspective, from a form right, using a form, right, for post service experience, like usually customer care, and what the customer feels about, and having a different experience for that. And let's say you want to do a location based survey and you want to have a different experience for that. Ability to translate to one location to another location, having multiple languages represented there, becomes possible, and with design changes for that as well to suit regional tastes, right? So those kind of things are something that we have kept in mind to do this, to have this functionality in Locobus. So yeah, the great focus is on user experience for this, for the end customer.
So not only you can functionally customize this, but you can also make it cosmetically customized to your brand. That's fantastic. Aditya, now with all these amazing benefits, which industries can see the most benefit from using these location-based surveys, in your opinion?
Right. So firstly, I think feedback is crucial across all industries because it serves as a direct line to the customer's voice. Without knowing what your customers think and feel about your product or service, it's challenging to sometimes make, informed decisions. Now, when we talk about QR based surveys in particular, their convenience and ease of use, as Vijay rightly talked about, make them a powerful tool for collecting feedback at the point of experience. So we spoke briefly about how this can be used for the banking and the food and beverages industry. Let's talk about a few more use cases. Uh, so let's take the retail industry for example. Imagine large stores where placing QR codes at checkout counters or even product aisles allows customer to provide immediate feedback on their shopping experience. Then we have the hospitality sector where hotels can leverage these QR based surveys to gather feedback from their guests. Uh, right, the guests would want to leave their thoughts on, not just the rooms, but also other aspects, right, like the room service, the cleanliness of the rooms, the washrooms, or even the dining options. So having this sort of an immediate feedback loop helps them maintain their lofty standards as they do have in the hospitality sector. One more industry I can think of is the aviation industry. So airports can place these QR codes at check-in counters, lounges, boarding gates, and travelers can provide their feedback again on their airport experience, including wait times, security processes, and again lounge services. So in essence, I would say feedback is important for a brand to make data-driven decisions, and with the addition of these QR-based location surveys, I think you as a brand can ensure that you are gathering feedback across various customer touchpoints.
That's amazing. Reflecting back on the past 20 odd minutes of our conversation, I can think of so many instances where I may have submitted my feedback, probably right after a call or right after an interaction. But now that I think of it in hindsight, I really have no idea as a consumer. Hey, I gave my feedback, but what happened after that? What did you do with it? And I think when brands implement a system such as Locobuzz in place, it's not just them who's getting to know all the valuable feedback coming in from customers, but also customers who get worth something worth their time. That hey, I gave you my feedback, and this is what the brand did about it.
No, absolutely, Angana. There's a lot of things that actually should happen after one submits their feedback. Usually, it has to be connected to some sort of a system of action, right? And our approach uh, for helping such use cases is connecting the source of truth, right, and then a system of action to it, so that you can go back to it. You can help that customer, right? You're collecting feedback from customers, so keeping customer at the center of it all, and ability to reach that person back again. And also with CRM integrations and other things, no approach are better. Also inform your CRM from the new thing that you may have learned about that customer from the feedback that you just got. These are the capabilities that a brand would need to meaningfully represent to the market that the feedback is being actioned upon.
Well, thanks for summing it up so nicely, Vijay. That was a fantastic summary of what we just discussed. And on that note, thank you, Vijay and Aditya, for being such lovely guests on the panel. It was definitely a really good conversation. And thank you to the audience who tuned in. We hope you found this useful. And by the way, and here comes my shameless plug. If you would like to find out more about this feature, just scan the QR code on the screen. I'm using it for my lead generation purposes, but I'm sure you can find your own use cases. If not, feel free to reach out and we'll be right there to help you out. Until next time, see you.